Welcome to Warriors of the World, the channel where history's greatest legends come alive. Today, we journey to the rolling plains of southern Africa to uncover the story of one of the most revolutionary leaders of all time, Shaka Zulu, the man who turned a scattered tribe into a mighty empire and reshaped a continent's destiny. Picture this, the African sun rising over Zululand's hills, the rhythmic beat of drums echoing across the landscape. In the heart of a small village, a young boy watches warriors training with their spears, dreaming of a future beyond imagination. That boy was Shaka, and his journey from outcast to unyielding king is a tale of resilience, ambition, and transformation. Born around 1787 to Senzangakona, a Zulu chief, and Nandi, a Langini woman, Shaka's early life was fraught with hardship. As the child of an unwed mother, he faced constant ridicule and rejection, both from the Zulu and Langini tribes. Yet, these challenges shaped his character, fueling a determination to rise above his circumstances. In his youth, Shaka found refuge with the Mthethwa people under the leadership of Dingiswayo, a visionary chief who became a mentor. It was here that Shaka honed his skills as a warrior and absorbed the political and military strategies that would later redefine the Zulu nation. While others saw him as a mere soldier, Shaka envisioned unity as the key to survival and greatness. This vision would set him on a path to becoming one of history's most transformative leaders. Shaka was not only a natural leader but also a military innovator who transformed the Zulu into a force to be reckoned with. How did he do it? By observing, adapting, and creating. One of his first breakthroughs was revolutionizing traditional weaponry. The Zulu had long used long, throwing spears, effective at a distance but limited in close combat. Shaka developed the Iklewa, a shorter, sturdier spear designed for hand-to-hand fighting, forcing warriors to face their enemies with unmatched intensity. But weapons were only part of the story. Shaka reorganized his warriors into regiments based on age and experience, fostering unity and discipline. This ensured that each unit functioned like a well-oiled machine on the battlefield. Perhaps his greatest tactical innovation was the buffalo horn strategy. Picture an army shaped like a crescent. The horns would encircle the enemy while the chest launched a frontal assault. This maneuver proved devastating, leaving opponents trapped and overwhelmed. Through these reforms, Shaka turned the Zulu into a professional army capable of not just conquering land but commanding fear and respect. Yet, his success carried a shadow of ambition, one that would soon reveal its darker side. In the next chapter, we'll delve into how Shaka used these innovations to unite Zululand and build an empire that challenged the established order. With his reformed army and a clear vision for unity, Shaka began his campaign to unite the scattered tribes of Zululand. This wasn't just about military conquest, it was a grand project to forge something greater, a powerful nation capable of resisting external threats and thriving under strong leadership. Shaka used a mix of diplomacy, military strategy, and psychological tactics to achieve his goals. For some tribes, he offered mutually beneficial alliances. For others, his message was clear: surrender or face the relentless force of the Zulu. The fearsome reputation of his army, bolstered by devastating victories and his famed buffalo-horned formation, convinced many to join rather than resist. However, the unification process was far from peaceful. Shaka implemented drastic measures to ensure loyalty from conquered tribes. He reorganized local societies, dissolving traditional power structures and merging clans into military regiments. This not only eliminated potential resistance but also strengthened the cohesion of his expanding empire. Shaka's vision extended beyond physical conquest. He instituted a rigorous training system for his warriors, ensuring they were the most disciplined and prepared in the region. Every soldier learned not just to fight but to obey without question, a cornerstone of Zulu military might. In a short time, Zululand transformed into a unified territory under Shaka's rule. What had once been fragmented clans became a powerful empire, capable of challenging any enemy. But with power came fear. Shaka's reputation as a ruthless leader spread beyond Zululand's borders, earning him both admiration and animosity. As the Zulu kingdom grew, so did Shaka's ambition. His leadership, though brilliant, became increasingly authoritarian and ruthless. To maintain control over his vast empire, Shaka implemented policies that many saw as extreme, even among his own people. One such policy was the ban on marriage for his warriors. Shaka believed that marriage would distract his men from their military duties. Instead, They were required to dedicate all their energy and loyalty to the army and the king. While this ensured a disciplined military, it also bred resentment among the soldiers and their families. Another example of his growing harshness was his reaction to any hint of disloyalty. Shaka tolerated no opposition, even within his inner circle. Executions became common, often as public examples to deter dissent. Even rumors of betrayal could result in severe punishment, creating a constant atmosphere of fear in the kingdom. Shaka's obsession with the security of his realm also drove him to continually expand Zulu territory. Each new victory seemed to fuel his desire for more, but it also strained resources and placed increasing pressure on his people. Meanwhile, tensions grew within his inner circle, where some began to question his methods and leadership. Tragedy struck Shaka in 1827 with the death of his mother, Nandi. This event marked a turning point in his reign. Overcome with grief, Shaka decreed an extreme mourning period, during which farming and milk consumption, vital to his people's survival, were prohibited. These measures led to economic hardship and widespread discontent. Although Shaka remained a feared and respected leader, cracks in his reign were becoming apparent. In the next chapter, we'll explore how internal tensions and growing conspiracies ultimately led to the tragic downfall of Shaka Zulu, the man who built an empire only to be betrayed by those closest to him. Despite Shaka Zulu's military and political achievements, the weight of his authoritarian policies and extreme decisions began to destabilize his reign. His growing obsession with consolidating power and expanding his empire demanded increasingly greater sacrifices from his people, fueling discontent and internal tensions. The death of his mother, Nandi, marked a turning point. During the mourning period Shaka imposed, extreme restrictions pushed Zululand to the brink. He banned planting crops, causing food shortages. Pregnant women were executed, symbolizing a rejection of life during grief. These measures not only eroded public trust but also ignited resentment among his warriors and closest advisors. Shaka also started seeing enemies everywhere, even within his inner circle. Those who had once supported him now feared his unpredictable temperament. This atmosphere of paranoia and suspicion set the stage for a conspiracy that would alter Zulu history forever. On September 22, 1828, while inspecting his settlement in Kwadukuza, Shaka was ambushed by his half-brothers, Dingane and Langana, along with a group of discontented allies. They brutally assassinated him with spears in an act of betrayal that symbolized the culmination of years of accumulated resentment. His death marked not just the end of a man, but the beginning of a new era for Zululand. The kingdom Shaka built began to fragment under his successors, who struggled to maintain the legacy of the great conqueror. But his impact on African history was already sealed. Though Shaka Zulu met a violent and tragic end, his influence endures, not only in African history but across the world. His legacy is a fascinating blend of military innovation, visionary leadership, and a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power. One of Shaka's most lasting contributions was transforming the Zulu from a local tribe into a regional powerhouse. Through his military reforms, he set a standard for organization, discipline, and strategy that inspired other African leaders in the following decades. The buffalo horn tactic and the use of the Iklewa became symbols of African military ingenuity, while his efforts to unify tribes laid the foundation for a stronger Zulu identity. Culturally, Shaka's impact runs deep. His story has become a symbol of resilience, courage, and the drive to overcome adversity. The narrative of an outcast rising to ultimate power resonates as a source of inspiration for countless generations. Today, the Zulu are one of South Africa's most recognized and proud ethnic groups, a living testament to Shaka's influence. However, his legacy is not without controversy. His ruthless leadership and focus on conquest are often compared to historical figures like Napoleon Bonaparte or Alexander the Great. Was Shaka a visionary seeking greatness for his people or a tyrant whose power spiraled out of control? This debate continues among historians and anthropologists. Shaka's impact also extends beyond history books. He has been portrayed in films, series, and novels, cementing his place in popular culture. One of the most notable depictions is the 1986 series, Shaka Zulu, dramatizing his life as a complex and charismatic leader. In the end, Shaka Zulu's story serves as a reminder that even the most powerful leaders face their limits. His legacy challenges both admirers and critics to reflect on the delicate balance between brilliance and unchecked ambition. In the next chapter, we'll explore how Shaka's legacy has influenced modern culture and global narratives about Africa. Shaka Zulu's legacy didn't end with his death. His vision and leadership transformed the Zulu people into a political and cultural force that left a lasting mark on southern Africa and the world. Beyond his conquests, Shaka established a collective identity for his people, cementing the idea of a unified Zulu nation that endures to this day. One of Shaka's most profound impacts was the social reorganization he introduced. He didn't just unite tribes by force. He fostered a system where loyalty to the Zulu kingdom superseded traditional tribal alliances. This change enabled the Zulu to develop an unprecedented internal cohesion, which proved crucial in later conflicts with European colonial powers. Militarily, Shaka's tactics inspired other African leaders. His discipline, organization, and innovations like the buffalo horn strategy became models for resisting external invaders. Even during the Anglo-Zulu Wars of the 19th century, Zulu tactics bore the influence of Shaka's reforms. Culturally, Shaka helped solidify traditions and practices that remain symbols of Zulu identity. Today's Zulu music, dance, and ceremonies trace their roots back to his era. These cultural elements not only strengthen the modern Zulu community but also captivate global audiences, showcasing the ingenuity and resilience of his people. Shaka also became a symbol of resistance against oppression. To many, his story represents the fight for self-determination in a continent subjected to centuries of colonialism. In modern times, African leaders and anti-colonial movements have invoked his image as an emblem of pride and strength. However, his legacy is not without its darker aspects. The unification process he led often resulted in destruction and the displacement of entire tribes, a period known as the Mfikane, or the Crushing. This phenomenon left a lasting imprint on the political landscape of southern Africa, creating both opportunities and conflicts that echoed for generations. The captivating story of Shaka Zulu has not only influenced Africa but has also transcended borders, inspiring countless representations in popular culture. From movies and series to literature and video games, Shaka's legacy continues to captivate audiences worldwide. One of the most iconic depictions is the 1986 TV series Shaka Zulu, which dramatized his life and portrayed him as a brilliant strategist and charismatic leader. While the series was praised for its scope, it also faced criticism for oversimplifying aspects of his life and perpetuating stereotypes. Nevertheless, it brought Shaka's story to a global audience, cementing his place as a cultural icon. In literature, Shaka has been the subject of numerous novels, biographies, and historical studies. Works like Shaka Zulu, The Rise of the Zulu Empire by E. A. Ritter delve into his life, though they are not without romanticized or Eurocentric interpretations. Shaka's influence extends into gaming as well. In the popular strategy game series Civilization, Shaka is a playable leader, depicted as a fierce and determined strategist. These games celebrate his military legacy while introducing his story to a new generation of historically curious players. Beyond entertainment, Shaka's image has been used as a symbol in political and social movements, particularly in South Africa, where his legacy resonates with efforts to preserve and celebrate African identity. The Zulu flag and the use of his name in institutions and events testify to how his figure lives on in the hearts of his people. Shaka's global reach has also sparked debates about how African history is portrayed internationally. While some see him as a hero and military genius, others critique narratives that exclusively depict him as a ruthless conqueror. This debate reflects a broader struggle to tell African history fairly, highlighting both the achievements and complexities of figures like Shaka. In the next chapter, we'll reflect on how Shaka's story invites us to consider the limits of power, ambition, and the enduring impact a leader can have in their time and beyond. Shaka Zulu's leadership is a complex and fascinating story that has sparked debate for generations. How did a man born into marginalization not only unify his people but also change the history of an entire region? His life teaches us lessons about the power of vision and the dangers of unchecked ambition. On one hand, Shaka was an innovator who understood the importance of adapting and evolving in a changing world. His ability to reform an outdated military system and turn it into a modern and efficient force is a testament to his strategic genius. He not only saw the possibilities of his time but created the tools to achieve them. His military reforms and ability to inspire loyalty among his warriors serve as a model for how a leader can transform their environment. On the other hand, Shaka reminds us that leadership has limits. His desire for absolute control, coupled with increasingly extreme decisions, eventually alienated many of his supporters. The paranoia and authoritarianism that marked his later years are a cautionary tale of how unchecked power can lead to the downfall of even the greatest leaders. Ultimately, Shaka Zulu left a legacy that transcends individual achievements. He embodied the struggle for identity and self-determination on a continent that faced centuries of external oppression. His story is both a celebration of African resilience and a warning about the perils of unrestrained power. But how do we view him today? As a hero, a visionary, or a tyrant? The answer depends on perspective, but what is undeniable is that Shaka left an indelible mark on history. Shaka Zulu was not just a leader of his time. He was a figure who redefined the meaning of power, strategy, and unity. His story continues to resonate because it represents both the greatness a leader can achieve and the challenges faced by those who rise above their peers. Shaka's legacy lives on not only in Zulu history but also in global culture. He serves as a reminder that leadership can emerge from the most unexpected places. Born into humble circumstances, he faced obstacles that would have defeated many, yet his determination propelled him to greatness. This message remains relevant today, inspiring those striving to overcome adversity and leave their mark on the world. Beyond military achievements, Shaka Zulu symbolizes a powerful idea. Change begins with the vision of one person. Yet, he also serves as a cautionary tale about how power must be balanced with empathy and restraint. His story invites us to reflect on the costs of greatness and the thin line between transformative leadership and destructive authoritarianism. Today, as we remember Shaka Zulu, we not only celebrate his accomplishments but also ponder the lessons his life leaves us. What does it truly mean to be a leader? How do we balance ambition with responsibility toward others? These questions are as relevant now as they were in his time. Thank you for joining us on this fascinating journey through the life of Shaka Zulu. If you enjoyed this dive into the past, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Was he a visionary hero or a leader consumed by ambition? We'd love to hear your perspective. We'll see you in the next episode of Warriors of the World, where we'll uncover more epic stories and explore the legacies of history's most fascinating warriors. Until our next adventure.